If you enter this Backrooms level alone, you will not make it out alive. And if you move, whatever is inside the darkness also moves, and they're way faster than you are. Hello everybody, I'm Brugly, and today I'm going to be talking about a level in the Backrooms that is uniquely unlike any other thing I've ever seen. This one has so many parts that make it an awful, horrible place to be, and it's actually a level from the Sandbox wiki that I really enjoyed reading through, so I wanted to feature it in a video. And like I said just now at the very beginning, if you come to this level, you will probably not make it out alive if you're alone, since there will be no one to sacrifice and leave behind in the level for you to escape. I know that sounds crazy, and it's gonna even get more crazy when you listen to this explanation, but without more talking, let's get into this explanation, and let's see what all this stuff has to deal with the level, shall we? The level in question is level 366, and it opens up with a warning rather than a usual classification graphic, which means that this is just a really deadly place. But the warning reads, quote, "If you see a ladder, do not climb up. There is no surface. The light above is an illusion. They want you to fall for it. Stand still. They cannot move if you don't." End quotes. And then with that sentence, there's this image, which is a ladder leading up to light. Maybe, even though they said there was no light. When you wake up on level 366, you'll first notice what the level looks like, and that is a huge spiraling expanse of brick sewer tunnels. These tunnels are dark, and they're dank, and they're old. They're damp, and they're humid as well, and your voice and your footsteps will echo off of all the walls and everything else here too. The tunnels eventually open up into various larger rooms made out of that same brick, and along the sides of these tunnels are various wires and clamps and sometimes pipes. The entire level's tunnels are circular in nature, but if they open up to a room, that can be a cube. The level is estimated to be about 200 square miles, which actually might seem big, but in reality it's pretty small for most Backrooms levels, since most are infinite or very, very large. The air in these tunnels is thick and sticky and humid, and there's no light available at all. So if you want to travel here for some reason, bring your own flashlight. There are a handful of other discovered levels that have tunnels like this one, but this level, level 366, is unique in several key ways, and I'm going to mention those right now. One of those differences is that there's a large presence of sapient, malevolent, and evil entities that live here, and that control most of the level. Number two is that this level is extremely strange with its effects and how hard it is to leave. And number three, of course, is if you enter this level alone, you won't make it out alive, which is unlike any other level I've ever heard of. This is very, very unique. And of course, I'll be explaining all three of those unique qualities in this video. Firstly, this level's tunnels are home to some sort of entity group, and there's at least 12 of them that patrol this 200-mile expanse. You do not want to run in or interact with these creatures in any way. They're constantly running through and examining the tunnels at extreme speeds with inhuman movement. So far, there's no direct description given of these creatures, since it is pitch black and since most people that interact with them, well, they're gonna die. But they seem to be some sort of two-legged large creature that is so insanely, innately terrifying that they strike the fight or flight response into people who come into contact with them. Now, I'm sure you know what the fight or flight is, but if you've been living under a big rock or you never went to school or something, it's the feeling you get when you're confronted with a scary, life-threatening situation. Essentially, your body will make you want to run or fight whatever you are seeing. And those creatures that run around this dark level invoke that feeling into everybody that gets near. And you don't even have to see them to get that feeling. They're just so bloodthirsty and aggressive that without even seeing them through the darkness, your body gets freaked out. They smell of grotesque iron and rot and flesh, and they seem to devour people just for the heck of it, just for sport. But the unique thing about these entities is in their movement, and it's that they only can move if you do so. It's kind of like that one level from Escape the Backrooms where you have to walk around and kind of look for the mannequins moving. Sort of like that, except these things are giant flesh creatures that want to kill you. But if you're walking around these tunnels, they too can walk around, and they are much faster than you are. Any form of life that comes into these tunnels is subject to that same fate and that same effect. The creatures don't really care what it is, they will consume everything they see. They almost devour the darkness and since you're in the darkness, they devour you too. As if a 200-mile loop of brick tunnels wasn't scary enough, these creatures do indeed make it worse. They have no name, they have no official images, just the horrifyingly fast blurs and the smell of rot that speed towards those who are unfortunate enough to come here. If you see or hear something and you start to sprint away, that's probably the worst mistake you can make because they're going to start sprinting towards you as well. And the last thing you'll likely hear is the salivating and gurgling of these entities right behind you. And with no exit in sight, that'll be the last thing you can hear forever. But even beyond those creatures and the level's layout, another horrifying part is that these tunnels, they don't have any light. You can't see anything. Everything is pitch black. The darkness is almost palpable. There's also so few exits and there's none listed, so there's no known way to escape. It's very isolating. It's like a prison of sorts. There are those random ladders that lead up to light, but as the warning said, there's nothing up there, and it's just a trap. The levels page ends with this sentence that I think pretty well encapsulates the entire level, and I'm just gonna read it to you now. Quote, "God bless you if you find yourself here alone, because you will have no one to sacrifice in order to escape alive." End quote. You see, this level pretty much requires you to come here and not move or not make any sudden movements. And because of that, it is theoretically impossible to escape by yourself, since you need at least one other person or one other thing to distract the entities while you're running away. As horrifying as that sounds, it truly does seem that that is the only single possible way to make it out of this tunnel, or have the option to even try to. And the problem is, it is so easy to get to this level that you can even do it by accident, and it can happen from safe levels. For instance, the main entrance is from the sewers on level 11, and if you wander too deep in them, you can find yourself here in these brick tunnels. And level 11 is pretty decently safe, so that would be awful if you were in a safe level with some people you knew and you just found yourself here after that. There are no listed exits to these tunnels. There is no way out. It is just death and decay. If you were not alone in this level and you somehow managed to make it out alive, then you will end up at the place you came from. So if you walk in from level 11 and you somehow get back, you'll make it back to that entrance wherever you came from. This level genuinely is a nightmare to think of. This thick darkness, this hot ambience and rotten smell, and the creatures that inhabit and feed off of the death that happens here. There's no light, there's no exits. It's a prison, it's a claustrophobic prison of that, and it's just a horrible place to be. And it's weird that it's got a connection to such a good level, like level 11. But whatever you do, when you come here, don't move, and if you come here on purpose, bring other people with you. That way you can try to outrun the entities. And just remember that to survive the level, all you gotta do is outrun your best friend, because they'll get eaten first. That's it for the explanation of level 366. This one was from the Sandbox, and I found it over on the Discord server. I really enjoyed reading this level, so I had to feature it inside this video. I think it's an amazing concept. It's just the right amount of like body horror and entity horror, but also like a horrifying physical level as well. If you enjoyed it, leave a like. Thank you all so much for your support. And while you're down there, check out the usual stuff in the description. I say it every video. I've said it 600 times. My Twitter, my Instagram, my other channel, Spoogly and Toogly, are down there. Y'all know the drill. But with all that said, Backrooms is literally happening in a few days, and I hope you're ready. Turn on your notifications. I'm going to be going over levels 91 to 100. Get ready for that. It's going to be amazing. Thank y'all for everything, and I will see you when I see you. Bye-bye.